Statistics shows that over 5,700 women lose their lives in labor per year in Uganda, and that's according to documented data. But how about those whose stories are not told? Is there more to claims made by politicians?
We have the health centers are there. In Bennet, we have a Japom health center, which is in Kamnagood. And then we have some small health centers around there.
Are there people still marginalized basing on their historical background, gender, or geographical location? The story I'm about to tell you is not a hearsay, not a far-fetched idea someone tipped me off, but rather something I have seen with my own eyes. As a travel journalist, you already know being on the road is what takes up most of my time. However, my trip to the Srhr region, hiking the Elgon Hills to visit the Ndorobos, did not leave me the same. The Ndorobos, often referred to as the Mosopishek or Bennets, are a tribe living in the upper slopes of Mount Elgon in the current Srhr sub-region in the districts of Kapchorwa, Kweni and Bukwo. According to Water God Smith, the Mosopishek are believed to have lived in the upper slopes of Mount Elgon since time immemorial, dating back to 1450 BC or beyond. Their number currently is estimated to be 8,500 people.
That is mud. Mud is heat. Yes. Yeah.
They are among the tribes which form up the bigger cluster known as the Challemges, who spread all over East Africa. The Mosopishek used to live in the upper slopes of Mount Elgon on the eastern part of Uganda. These people are part of the tribes who form up the support group around Mount Elgon. Among these, the Mosopishek and the Sabines are the only tribes living in Uganda around Mount Elgon. The Bennets were originally pastoralists, hunters, fruit gatherers, and beekeepers. The women used to weave baskets made from bamboo stems. During my short-lived stay in the Ndorobo community of Yatui Parish in Kwasu sub-county of Kweni district, my heart sank at the deplorable livelihoods encountered by these incredibly hard-working people. To say the roads to these communities are bad would be an understatement, for we literally had to hike there on foot. Not because we did not have a car, but because our car could not maneuver the rough terrain. People here use donkeys to carry their produce up and down the hills every other harvest. According to the recently amended Constitution of Uganda, the affirmative action broadly states that, notwithstanding anything in this constitution, the state shall take affirmative action in favor of groups marginalized on the basis of gender, age, disability, or any other reason created by history, tradition, or custom for the purpose of redressing imbalances which exist among them. This brings us to the burning questions that set me packing my bags back to this marginalized community living on the slopes of Mount Elgon. Why are these people in the mountains in the first place? Why don't they have roads? What do they do in case they want to access basic human needs? According to their affirmative action, it's their right to have their needs addressed by the state. But have they tried getting help? And most importantly, how do women here access maternity care in a place as isolated as this? Every waking day, a typical Ndorobo is going to be spotted wrapped in a blanket. It's not fashion, neither is it swag, but rather the inescapable fate caused by the weather conditions here. This is the home of Dave Demande, a member of the Ndorobo community. He welcomes me warmly and later narrates to me the nemesis of their downfall.
When government got an interest to take over the forests for conservation reasons. We were relocated to the current resettlement area that in Kwen district we are occupying 5 sub-counties. We are also a stateless community. We are underprivileged. We don't have our own political leaders who can even represent our views at national level, say in parliament. And so marginalization is a story here. Marginalization in terms of social services, talk of schools, talk of health services, talk of the road infrastructure. We are completely left out.
This is David's wife, an expectant mother in the Ndorobo community. Other than tilling the hilly landscapes to plant Irish, she tends to her home relentlessly. You understand you're married and you're pregnant. How far into the pregnancy are you right now?
My name is Yeko Maseline, a resident of Sabo village, Yatoyi parish in Kwaso sub-county of Kweni district. I am a mother of 3 and also an expectant mother of 6 months into her pregnancy.
So what are some of the challenges women expectant mothers face while accessing maternity care?
Some of the challenges I faced during this period include the long distances to the health centers, and sometimes there are no doctors there. Some of the local birth attendants we have in our community have no experience and also sometimes not willing.
So what would you want to be changed? Do you need any help of any kind to make sure that you people have safe delivery?
We need the government to support us by constructing health services near us in Ndorobo County. We need good roads leading to the health centers.
Okay. I've heard your husband earlier told me that you have traditional birth attendants. How effective have their activities been to your life, like you as an individual? Have you been treated by a traditional birth attendant, and do you think they are capable of giving safe deliveries, or they need to be trained more?
Our birth attendants should also be supported with gloves to help women in labor and in training. The government should also think of educating the community.
We set off again to the home of the traditional birth attendant, where David's wife usually gets emergency care for her unborn child. The traditional birth attendant is rather uneasy. It seems there is a woman in labor in her heart. So I came with this madam to take me to her traditional birth attendant. This is the home of the traditional birth attendant in this community. And right about now, there is a woman in labor right now. She's having some traditional medicines that she's going to use. Maybe she'll explain what it does. But right now we are going to see her helping a woman bring a life into this world in a traditional way, how it's done in the Ndorobo community right now. After her consent, we go in with her to witness the process. So as you can see, this is not a hospital, not even close to what a hospital is. It is a hut, the traditional house for the Ndorobo people, and there is avocado, there is a bed, there are clothes for other people. So apparently this is someone, a woman giving birth in her bed. This is what is happening. The situation is like this. There is no help in case she gets a complication during birth, and this is where we are at right now. This is what happens because the roads are as ramshackle as they were, as you saw them when we were coming here. The place is so far apart, every house is far apart from each other, that a woman has to walk or call the traditional birth attendant prior, or walk to the traditional birth attendant prior before she gets into labor, and the traditional birth attendants are the only option. After the young mother is properly tended to, we extend our chat with Elder Kokop Annette outside her house.
Okay, so I've been wondering, how many women have you helped deliver ever since you started this? Can you give a count?
I have helped many women give birth, but I have also watched many lose their lives doing so. So many I can't recall the number.
What are some of the complications women who give birth traditionally get usually?
My name is Kokop Annette, an old woman and also a birth attendant in the Ndorobo community. I started doing this in the year 1970 until now. The medicine you saw me give to the young lady in there is to help her body get prepared for labor. It's called Chejaboye.
No vehicle. So how would you want to be helped? Which are some of the facilities or things you would want the government or people who are concerned to help you with to improve this situation?
The government should construct for us good and nearby health centers, some good roads, support us with gloves, and train more birth attendants here. I am not paid much for doing this. Sometimes a woman will give me 10,000 as a thank you. We do it for the love of our people.
According to the information we have gathered so far, the Ndorobos filed a court case against the government and emerged winners.
It was recognized that the Bennet community who were residing in the disputed area were historical and indigenous inhabitants of this area, which unfortunately had been declared a wildlife protected area. And it was also agreed between the parties that this community was entitled to stay in this area and carry out agriculture activities, including developing it undisturbed by WUA and the officials of the government of Uganda. And then it was also agreed that pursuant to that judgment, the respondents, which were Uganda Wildlife Authority and Attorney General, were supposed to take all the steps necessary to ensure that the area was degazetted as a wildlife protected area. And because it was a wildlife protected area, these indigenous inhabitants were not supposed to develop it with schools, maternity centers, or other health centers, and such infrastructure as would enhance their well-being. So pursuant to the consent judgment, the Attorney General undertook by this judgment to take affirmative action in favor of that community to redress the imbalance that was then existing in terms of education, infrastructure, health, social services, in the spirit of Article 32, Clause 1 of the Constitution, which mandates government to take affirmative action in favor of disfavored communities.
There is no tangible infrastructure compensation on parish level. A considerable non-documented number of women have lost their lives giving birth here. The nearest health facility is 8 to 14 kilometers away. So we set out again under a scorching sun to visit the nearest health facility, Terempoi Health Center 3.
So right now we have arrived at Terepoi Health Center 3 in Kweni district. The hospital where we are at is the hospital that is supposed to serve the entire region that we have been exploring. Apparently this is a Saturday, and the only except for the people who are constructing a newly appointed maternity ward, the only people welcoming us is of course the watchman and the number of animals around here. We want to go inside and find out the situation in this hospital. So it turns out on a Saturday, if you want to give birth, you have to wait until Monday. The situation here is very worrying. According to the signpost here, this is where outpatients come to. This is where the inpatients come to, family planning, immunization, and a number of things serving a whole region. So people coming from up in the Ndorobos have to walk about 14 kilometers to access this hospital that is seriously not in a very good condition. Walk with me, let me show you around.
On the walls hang charts on which numbers of health personnel are written, but no one is available to attend to the lucky expectant mother who makes it to the hospital.
I'm around here and I'm waiting for the nurse to come so that I can be able to find out the situation of do these people have mama kits? For example, when a pregnant woman comes here, do they get access to mama kits and all that? That is what we are going to find out. Good enough, fortunately, the Ministry of Health put in place a health center for these people, but sadly, of course, there are no people to tend to the people. So the facility is here, well, but we can't see people working in the facility yet.
The labor wards seem more like deserted rooms left to the mercy of kind passerbyers. We insist on seeing someone responsible, and the guard calls the volunteers who apparently work in the absence of assigned medical personnel.
Yes, this hospital, we have anyway, our patients or clients have care, but where we have, however, we have some challenges. One challenge we can talk about, like when the patient has come here, like if the patient, because here is just a health center 3, where we don't need to do cesarean sections and the other. We just need to check if the patient is able to push, then that's okay, we can help to progress level up to the 3rd stage and so on. We can even over now. After delivery, we can over issue things like immunization, also health care, these mothers, how they should care themselves at the same time caring their babies. But the challenge comes when the mother have complications, failure to push, transporting this mother to the general hospital like Apchero is a challenge, because given the fact we have poor roads, and also we don't have any transport here like ambulance and so on, where we can rush this mother very fast. And also another challenge is if a mother is able to push and perhaps has other secondary complications like postpartum, hemorrhage and so on. Of course, transporting that mother is a challenge. And we also have drugs like magnesium sulfate and so on, which we don't have to capture or to solve that problem immediately as it occurs. That's another challenge we have. Another challenge we have is understaffing here, more so in Department of Midwifery. So midwife, we have them, but we have like 1 or 2, but most of them are now on leave. So definitely, as we talk now, we don't have a midwife which is active now. Yeah, we just have like I and another lady usually comes, we help them as they come, most of this weekend. So we don't need also to blame them more weekend because they don't have where to sleep. And also, you see, health mind is the health environment and also where you have a rest. So, but we thank government because they're trying to build for them. But of course, it's a challenge as per now, given the fact it's a human being.
After our chat with the volunteer medical personnel, we are driven back to the burning questions. Why are there no medical personnel in the only available health facility? who is responsible for implementing these services in this region.
The Boy Health Center 3, of recent, it had some, maybe let me call it internal issues, where the staff, it's a health center 3 which is supposed to have up to 19 staff. And out of 19 staffs, I think it has 13. And then of those, 4 of them are support staffs. That is the help, the askaris and the porters. Now, the technical staff, the midwives, to be specific, who are supposed to attend to those mothers, indeed, the boy has gotten 2 midwives. But of recent, we had issues with both of them. Now, the person who has been supporting is a volunteer. Now, this volunteer, these are qualified staffs who haven't gotten employment, but they keep to our health facilities to do their clinical practice like that. The outreaches, we do what we call integrated health outreaches, where as teams are going out for EPI, they integrate it with the other services like antenatal, growth monitoring, nutrition assessment, HIV, counseling and testing, and family planning, and many other services that can be given in the community. Now, we have, this one comes with a cost, and of course this has always been footed by the government through the PHC grants that it sends to build health facilities. Now, this cannot ably sustain all planned outreaches that a facility may desire to do, okay? So, you find that they cover a few communities that they can reach out to, but then the larger portion of the area may not be covered. If you reach that place, you've appreciated the terrain of the place, the landscape of that area. So mountainous with the inaccessible road networks. So a healthcare team would go to a place that they feel they can reach out easily. But then those far, deep, hard-to-reach places with the impassable road networks, you find that they are really left out. And if you're to plan for them, it has a cost implication that as a district, we may not be in position to really afford.
Why is this hospital serving such a huge amount of people? What do women do here in case of maternity emergencies?
I myself tried to research, and I found out that the entire country suffers the same issue. It is rare to get a sub-county with more than one health center in this country today. Most sub-counties have got one health center. If they are lucky, they will have one health center and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 health center tools. And even health center tools wouldn't handle deliveries. So I want to agree with you that my sub-counties there are big. They actually they are very big, and the roads are not also passable, and you are either climbing or sloping, which is very difficult for a pregnant mother to move. That one I agree with you, and we are into negotiation with government. We are urging government to really add us health center tools, because already health center 3. Well, one health center 3 in a sub-county is okay, but we only need to have enough staff. There is a lot of understaffing in all the health centers in the region and actually in the whole country.
We decided to follow the only clue we had at the moment. If the Ndorobos sued the government and won the case, why weren't they compensated with infrastructure that they're entitled to?
The actions were taken, or whether there is any disturbance, Presently, I'm unable to comment because my instructions ceased.
I made a call to Uganda Wildlife Authority, the government body responsible for their displacement, and they hastily referred me to the office of the Prime Minister.
When it comes to gazettement, UWA does not gazette any protected area. It is government that gazettes and asks UWA, actually directs UWA to take charge because UWA is a government entity. Now, once UWA takes charge, government that has gazetted, if there is an element of resettlement that has to be done, it is done centrally. It is not UWA that does so. Our role is to make sure that an area that has been declared as a protected area is kept intact. The integrity of the ecosystem is protected and something like that. So that's why I'm referring to OPM, where you can get information about resettlement. For sure, as UWA, there is no information we can give you about resettlement of not only those ones, but any other community. We don't resettle.
The public relations officer of the Prime Minister agreed to see me.
The Ndorobos or the Bennet are Ugandans. And as Ugandans, they are entitled to the services that the government provides.
Marginalization is a story here. Marginalization in terms of social services, talk of schools, talk of health services, talk of the road infrastructure. We are completely left out. We participate in electoral processes, we pay taxes, including the mobile money. Well, few people are educated and learned here. How did I get the little English that I speak? I stayed with the uncle because my mother comes from the lowland areas, yeah? And so there was that kind of opportunity. All my other friends, they cannot or they are not able to express themselves even the way I can try to do so.
There is no deliberate plan to deny them. Of course, there are many people, many hard to reach areas in this country where people would want a health center to be within 1 kilometer or less of the people that live in those areas. Within the means that are available, that is what is available. But what I can tell you is that even when you go to places like Srhr, there are some hard to reach areas that do not have as the frequency of services as one would wish. But the commitment of government, as I know, is to make sure that all Ugandans are within the easiest reach of services, of schools, of hospitals. The only problem is when you don't have resources enough to reach everybody. We have the issue of schools. There are places that still need secondary schools, for instance, per constituency. There are places where there is a commitment to have technical schools, health facilities, even within the city around here. But the question is it a deliberate plan? No, it's not. Is there a need? Yes, of course.
Well, it seems like we have hit a dead end after all. Women in the Ndorobo community remain with a huge gap when it comes to maternity care, and the following questions remain unanswered. On which terms was the ruling made when the Ndorobos won against the government? Why are there no health workers in the only hospital available? Where are the funds meant to avail basic needs for these people? Namale Agnes reports.